Hey everybody, it's Coach Jan here, and welcome to Tai Chi to the People. Today we're going to talk about the four corners. Four corners is a technique that is not only in pretty much every Tai Chi system, but is also in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And we're going to show it today from the Wu Style Tai Chi perspective. We're going to analyze it. I was doing my Tai Chi form this morning, my Wu Style form this morning, and I just love when I get to the four corners. So we're going to go for it right now. I do two different types of breathing. I do the normal, like inhale, draw the color into the belly, and exhale, push it through the limbs. But I also do the inflation, reverse breathing from William C. Chen's form, and so his Yang style form. So I'll showcase how I've adapted the William C. Chen form to this Wu style set. As a matter of fact, I had won a medal, which means nothing, for a reverse breathing Wu style form. So I took the Wu style form and I added William C. Chen's movements to it, breathwork and visualization to it. And I think that form is online. So if so, I'll link it in this video. It was several years ago when I was just coming out of college. But anyway, let's go for these four corners right now, Wu style. And perhaps if you guys like this video, I will make more four corners videos and also talk about the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu version as well, because obviously I'm in a park right now, so I'm not going to get on the ground and do the bridge. But essentially, the four corners, as you guys know, you create this T shape with the arm. T shape, hand goes in the middle. Sometimes you'll see it here, but you get this T shape. Now, with every move in Tai Chi, pretty much in all martial arts, but especially in Tai Chi, they're really just shapes. And the shapes can be applied in many different ways. So I love seeing, even the Luha Bafa has the four corners. But when you do you're doing Jiu-Jitsu, you'll see it as a hip scape and block the shoulder of the opponent. You're like hip scaping away from the opponent. You're putting your arms across their shoulder line and bridging the arm down. So you're blocking them as they're attempting to come after you when you're hip scaping. You're escaping with the hip, shooting your hips backwards and pushing the hand out. So you might see some people call it shrimping out. But with this particular added technique, you're doing the shrimp out and doing the T shape. So it's four corners, same thing. So here, we're going to start with our Tai Chi form, our regular warm up. Imaginary string lifts from the top of the head, feet shoulder width apart. Notice that I'm on a slant on a hill, which is fine. I'm going to find my alignment of my hips, even on the slant of the hill. I remember when I was a teenager, one of my fight teammates told me, he's like, Jan can only do Kung Fu on a flat surface. And so it's fun for me to adjust my my alignment and find the alignment within the hill. And so my left leg is lower, my right leg is higher. So even if you're in a position where you don't feel flat, find yourself and find the alignment. I'm aligning my hips so that they're flat for me in this posture. My shoulders, imaginary string lifts to the top of the head, mouth closed, tongue on the ceiling of the mouth, and inhaling up. Interlace, exhaling down, inhaling up, exhaling down. And remember, when I start these exercises with you guys, I always start with the superficial. And the superficial is inhale, exhale, quote unquote. Remember, the breath is a vehicle for your attention. So what you're doing is you're visualizing the breath going into the belly to your base diaphragm or second chakra, lower dantian, as it's called in Kung Fu and Tai Chi, 3 finger lengths below your belly button. So when you inhale there, when you keep your eyes open, you see the breath gathering there as a color and expanding outward. So you immediately get yourself deeper into the zone, speeding up your perception by slowing down. See the breath as the color gathering. And when you exhale, you're pushing that color from the belly out the arms. And if you're more sophisticated, it's out the arms and out the legs. And the only way to get more sophisticated is to do it down the arms first or down a particular limb first. So you have to start small and then expand your awareness as you go with anything. So inhaling deep, Even deeper, even deeper, even deeper. Exhaling down. So we didn't do a big multi-set buildup for this uplifting heaven exercise that we just did. I have other videos for that. Highly recommend you check those out. Right now, we're going to go right into the Wu style form. Wu style form is the original Yang form, according to at least the history that I know. A lot of times with Chinese Kung Fu histories, you'll get multiple interpretations, and they may not all align. So on this channel, unless you have some data that would educate me, which I would love to see if you do, we're going to call the Wu style form the original Yang style. And from my understanding, the original Yang style, the rigid stance where you see shoulder width apart feet, but both feet parallel pointing forward in the same direction as your target, rather than 45 degrees out. So super important to see this A-frame that I have right now, not with the back up, but with my nose over my knee over my big toe, my hip collapsing into the groin, straight line from the back heel to the top of the head. So I have my A-frame here. And that was harder than what the Yang style shifted to. And the Yang style was designed, again, according to the history that I know, to become more popular, to allow people Tai Chi without the strenuous postures that the Wu style had. And again, according to the history that I have been has been shared with me. So from these four corners, we're going to start to right here in our play guitar or 7-star position, as it's also been called from my teacher. Notice that my left middle finger is on my right pulse. Here we are. And you'll also notice that I have my back heel, all of my weight's on the back heel. I can lift the foot. I'm going to come closer since you know what that posture is now. And going closer to the camera so you can see, exhaling, I'm dropping the hand down. This is the beginning of the four corners. And I exhale and I do a shoulder press. This shoulder press is very important because the shoulder press here, look at my fingers, they're not activated yet here. I want to emphasize that when you drop with the shoulder press, boom, my shoulder press has my fingers dropping down. This hand, this is coming from William C. Chen's Yang style, this concept, but emphasizing the relaxation of this hand as weight. I turn the idea of weight on, boom, and look how it dips my shoulder. The weight in the fingers dipping my shoulder, and my shoulder becomes like a ball, so like a giant iron ball going right to a wall. Boom, that shoulder's dropping down. Now, this hand, if you want to be more practical, more strategic with your Tai Chi, it's going to open up and it's going to cover your temple, because you can use this in grappling, in sparring, in boxing, etc. You want to have this protection here just in case someone swings at you while you're doing the shoulder check. Now, the shoulder check also works with the arm wider when you're 50-50 grappling. Boom, really, really important. But for this moment, we're doing this. And notice if you're a boxer that you have the pendulum block here. If you're a boxer, you have the pendulum block. That means you can strike low, strike high. So boom, pendulum block, just lean back and throw the arm up. Again, this is just from our first move, we drop in, exhaling down, the weight in the hand. That means that the color visualization as I exhale shifts down, pours down the arm, but the emphasis is in the shoulder. Idea of weight here, emphasis the shoulder. The weight here is leveraging the shoulder forward and it blasts forward. And I'm protected here. So, again, 7-star, dropping down, exhale, boom, shoulder comes in. Once I lock into my posture, what does that mean, lock into my posture? Once my nose comes over my knee and my big toe, that one line, that's my lock. So I know from structural standpoint that anytime I'm playing, doesn't matter what my stance is, anytime I'm playing push hands or grappling or anything, I know that if I find toe, knee, nose in my posture, that is my lock position. What I mean by lock is that I know that I can leverage that position. That is the optimal, from my experience, the optimal position to execute a technique any technique with my hands or my feet, toe, knee, nose, alignment, boom, throw my kick, boom, throw my punch, boom, toe, knee, nose alignment, execute my crank so I can set up a throw, make the opponent step, and then step them over and toss them. So I find that toe, knee, nose right here, which means I go to my A-frame. Here, drop down, exhale, toe, knee, nose, toe, knee, nose. Or that guy, Tony, he knows a lot. So toe, knee, nose right here. From here, that's going to set up my next move. So once I find my lock, that catalyzes me to the next move. So drop down, shoulder check, lock, and boom, exhaling out. And I'm exhaling for this one. I'll do an inhalation version as well, but this is the exhale. Now, notice that there are two techniques happening that are really part of one whole. So one, I'm clearing. If you are, I've been studying some Kempo and really getting that clear blocking, that really, really clear right across the center line block, across the nose level, boom, that block right there. So also if you do Wing Chun, boom, you have it right here. So you want to get that clarity without the rigidity. So the clarity without the rigidity, what I mean by that is that you want to be able to slide this hand out, but keep it as sensitive as possible. I don't imagine when I do my Tai Chi forms too many applications because it makes me too tense. So I soften. I know that this is my target shape and that I keep going. So I just want to recommend that for you guys. So I'm going off of, boom, here, exhaling out. I get that clearing of the line. It's coming from my breath work, activating my hips and my waist. Those are two separate powers, hip power, waist power. So my hips turn, the waist agrees, and I start to push out this arm. Shoulder blade disappears on both. Notice that my back is called a rounded back, but it's really just the disappearing, the opening of the valves, closing, depending on who you talk to. And I have this posture here. My elbow, Wu style, is as dropped as possible, as downward as possible, arms like blades. So there's no wind beneath the wings like there is in William C. Chen's form. Letting Mark in. No wind beneath the wings here. Hey, Mark. Miss and love you, man. So good to see you. We're doing the four corners from Wu style, but it adapts to many different styles. So we have this reaching here. And this, what does this move mean? So if this is our get the object out of the way, then what are we doing with this? Well, to be quite honest, there's so many different applications of it. I never thought of it as a strike. I never thought of it as anything else other than a position of claiming space. I put my arm out to claim space. If I have someone's arm that I've moved aside, then I might be reaching behind their back with this arm. So I move their arm aside, reach behind their back. I might, and if that's their outside arm. If that's their inside arm. If I'm off against an opponent and they throw their right hand to me, and so you're my opponent, and that arm is going here, and then it gives me their back, I'll move that arm out of the side, and then I take their back. That's an example. If it's the left arm coming at me, let's say like an overhand or hook, then I'm cutting into the strike and I'm going into their body and entering their space. So I always think of this arm as entering space and dropping my weight to claim and to make my presence known as much as possible. So we'll go over the moves again, but I'm giving you a detailed breakdown of each step and the concept, the intention behind each one of these moves, starting with 7-star or play guitar, exhaling down. When I exhale down, the arms don't simply move, the hips and waist move. So I'm coiling up, and then I exhale. This hand is heavy, pushing the weight. This hand, the weight of this hand, the idea of weight turns on like a switch all of a sudden. So it's not that I'm turning my shoulder to bring it in. The idea of weight turns on, and that drops my shoulder, and it drops my stance, and it goes down and in. Jet, come over here real quick. My son here playing. So if I was using this exercise here, and I'm playing with him, shoulder opponent, notice that I drop my shoulder in. Now notice that my hand didn't move at all, but the concept, the body mechanic, I'm so used to feeling it, the weight drop here, that I can allow that to happen here. And he can feel it on his chest. So super important. And so I drop that into the chest. And if you're doing push hands, there's many different strategies to, your opponent's going to react to that. They'll probably push upward and at an angle. So you do that, and then you reverse the pressure right away. If you get the reaction out of them, you'll reverse the pressure. So dropping down, 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 down. Hips and waist, exhaling. Exhale even deeper, the weight dropping my shoulder. Exhale even deeper. That's 3-stage exhalation. And look, cutting across, clearing, and claiming space with the left hand right here. So I'm going to step away from the camera so you can see my A-frame. Back heel to the top of the head. Hand out. Other side here. Notice that this hand, the extended hand, my left, is in front of my nose with the left middle finger. Same line as my nose, 45 degrees. Notice that this hand is out 45 degrees, my right hand. Side. So it's not open. 45. Oh. And my left hip, the extending arms hip, is exhaling and softening, coming forward. Whoa, notice it's coming forward right here, dropping that elbow, and there's a gentle, soft drill. I just did it right here, that gentle, soft drill. Really, really important. And remember, again, from my perspective, there are many different applications of this. I'm simply putting my arm out there to claim the space so that I have multiple options. So that's how I think about it in my form. You might think about something different. And I always recommend choosing what feels best for you. So here we go. And after that move, we repeat. So in the Wu Style form, not that this is necessarily a Wu Style instructional video for the 4 corners, but here, we're going to drop down. Exhale once. Exhale even deeper. Inhale, come right back to your 7-star. You can inhale even deeper if you'd like here. Exhaling. And now we're going to do the reverse breathing version. Inhale even deeper. Exhale, fall asleep. Falling asleep, sleep, 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 sleep. And that falling asleep energy is like a downward rainbow. You want to feel yourself. Exhale, fall asleep, sleep, sleep. And then wake up, inhale. Inhale. Now, my fingers are leading as if they're being pulled, as if they have nostrils. They're sucking in the air, and that air is pulling them up. Those are 2 concepts layered on top of each other. The nostrils and the sucking are pulling. So you're pulling in the air, and it pulls the fingers forward. And for this version, I'm allowing the pull of the inhalation to extend my arms forward and 45 degrees. 45 degrees for this hand, forward for this hand. And you feel the extension reaching through the curve. Through the curve, I feel the softening of my scapula into the back and extending all the way. Notice that my shoulder is not up, it's down. So my shoulder stays down and I go all the way forward. This is incredibly helpful if you're doing pummeling. Remember, we've done some pummeling before. You're in the 50-50 clinch, you pummel in, you pummel in, you pummel in, or you're standing with your feet 45, shoulder width apart, and you have a partner also doing the same. One hand on an elbow, one hand with an underhook under your opponent's armpit, and then you swim in and pummel, 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 pummel. So a lot of times, if you're in jiu-jitsu or Japanese or Brazilian jiu-jitsu or any type of wrestling, you may not have that little extra detail of reaching, the fingers being pulled, inhaling, the fingers being pulled. It's such an important sensation, and it's so subtle. And when you amplify that subtle experience, you can completely change your presence in a grappling situation. Completely. I've worked with a lot of very heavy top level grapplers, and you just give this little detail, and you don't even have to tell them about it. Just do the little detail on them, and they're going to feel the difference, and it's going to make them think differently. They're like, why am I getting that explosive pop from this person? Because you're doing this little reach and you're coordinating this reach. There's a lot more details to it. And we'll go into those details right now. You drop down and you inhale. Notice the inhale is waking you up, but the inhale is also a bounce. So you go to sleep, inhale, wake up. Notice that there's slight bounce right here. I'm now coming up, waking up, being pulled. And I add that layer of bounce to the reach, like you're bouncing a ball. The exhaling going to sleep is like a ball hitting the ground. The waking up is like it's bouncing off the ground and going upward. So there's that boom, boom, that little triangle that you want to feel as you're going forward for this version. Exhale, go down, 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 down. Inhaling, up, up, up. It is the same bounce that we use for the exhale, go to sleep, inhale, push up 45 degrees to the corner wall push. When you push your opponent's shoulders over their hips to get them to either step back or fall. Very, very important concept. And that concept happens right here. So let's rewind. Let's go back to, as I was saying in the beginning of the video, I do both versions in my Wu Style 4 corners segment. For the most part, I keep my Wu Style fairly traditional. I did do that form, as I mentioned before, where I completely did all of my moves in the Wu Style with the Grandmaster William C. Chen's reverse breathing body mechanics, and started doing the inhalations, the inflations, which are not in the Wu Style, that are in his form. And so I will share that video if I have it online. But for this one part of the form, I do both. And I love doing both because it reminds me to think strategically, even when I'm doing my Tai Chi form, that the strategy should be part of the flow. So here we go. We'll start with the first breathing. 7 star. Remember, your back foot, your front foot should be able to lift. Your weight mostly on the back foot, and that back foot, if you're doing Wu Style, is facing the same direction as your fingers and toes. So everything is forward, not 45 degrees, but forward. And here we are. We exhale down. Oh, actually here. Exhale down. Notice the hips and waist turning. Exhale even deeper. And then 3 stage. Hand heavy. Brings the shoulder down. Exhale even deeper. And you're drilling. You just went down. Now you're drilling forward with that downward energy. And then inhale. Draw it back in. Sit back. Inhale even deeper. Bring the hand and foot up. And exhale down now. Actually, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And inflate. We'll do it again with less stopping from my end. And here we go. I and the middle finger as high as the nose. 7 star position. I'll back up just a little bit so you can see the foot. Exhaling down. Actually, exhaling deeper. Even deeper. Inhale deep. Even deeper. Bring the hand and toes, fingers and toes up. Exhale, chop down. From that chop and drop of the hip, the hand falls. Exhale, go to sleep. Sleep, 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 sleep. Inhale, bouncing up. So let's do the same thing, except I'll face the camera, and then we'll go a step farther to the other side. 7 star. Notice the alignment. I'm using the camera to make sure that my alignment is nose level. So we'll go with the first one. Exhaling down. Hand becomes heavy. Drops the shoulder. Exhale even deeper. Cut across my nose line. And exhaling, pushing the hip forward. Turning the waist. Softening. Inhale, draw back. Right along this line. It's almost like you're catching something here. Chopping down. Exhaling down. Inhale up. Exhale down and go to sleep. Inhale, bounce. And from here, this is one of my favorite parts. Exhale, and I turn the waist inhale deep, and pulse. So I inhale deep and I pulse, which means I take the weight off the front leg just for a moment. Here, notice that I have my temple covered, and I exhale, I shift forward. And then I step and drop the next shoulder and come up and across. So let's talk about that moment for a second. So we just did exhale down, inhale, balance up. And from here, from this move here, we open the hips. We open the hips. So you should really feel the stretch right here in the obliques. Open the hips. The hands don't split. You already have the opening. Boom. Open the hips up. Here. Boom. My waist agrees with it too. So there are moments in the forms, pretty much all of the forms, I believe, where you have hip moving independently. Boom. And it snaps back. Hip moves, snaps back. That's a very, very important concept. We won't talk about that too much here, but it's really, really powerful to be able to bring boom and pop in, to be able to knock an opponent off. Very, very powerful stuff. But for here, for this moment, the waist and the hips work together in the opening, but the hands stay the same. Boom. It may be just a gentle movement. And when I say the hands stay the same, I mean that the arms follow the waist. So they stay the same distance. And exhale. Notice they exhale, wave down. Or you can inhale, wave down. The coordination is going to be really up to you when you figure out how you want to, if you want the reverse breathing or the regular breathing. So I'm just sharing my version. And I will do both in the same form. Cut across. Now this move right here is so, so powerful and so important. Remember, we talked about protecting the temples, and we talked about the pendulum block, which is right here. So you have the pendulum block covering, pendulum block, and you're going to step that back leg forward and through. So the pulse that you did, and some people won't pulse, they'll just heel toe twist. The heel toe twist I've talked about in the past is done very, very at a very high level by the Taiwanese push hands players, the top level sports push hands players. They spin on the heel toe, do an amazing job. From my experience, that grinds the kneecaps, and I've always avoided grinding my kneecaps because my father had challenges with his knees. And so I didn't want to have the same challenges. So I always avoided things that would grind my kneecaps because I didn't want to go through that pain. So I don't do that. What I do is I do the pulse, and the pulse is taking the weight off for just a moment and shifting the direction of the toe and the knee at the same time. If these are your toes and this is your kneecap, you shift it from the hip. Open up the hip joint, and then I switch right back into it. So rather than heel toe here, I do 1, 2. I go 1, 2. Now, of course, that costs time, and time at the highest level is the greatest commodity. So I'm sure that has cost me some points in the past in my push hands experience. However, what it does for me is it keeps me really grounded in competitions, reminding myself that my safety is more important than a win. So I do appreciate that about this one little moment. That's me sharing how this moment has affected me in competition, because I've done it. I was like, oh, should I grind here? I'm like, oh, I could hurt my knees. Is it worth it? Is this medal or title worth me having an injury that lasts the majority of my life? Probably not. So not to say that I would have gotten the injury, but I definitely thought about it several times. So here we go. We drop down, we throw the shoulder, we inhale, we bounce up, we open hips and waist, we exhale. So you can inhale, open, inhaling, open, exhaling, dropping down. Exhale even deeper. And now this back foot, the front foot has turned because I pulsed. I haven't shifted the weight yet. I'm starting to shift the weight forward, and I bring this leg through. And now I have this shoulder crashing into my partner or opponent, taking and claiming space, however you want to call it. Boom, right there. And then I do the other side. Exhale, come across and slide out. This hand, the back arm sliding forward now. I'm backing away so you can see it again. Here we go. 45 degrees. Forward. Notice I'm in my A-frame. My feet are shoulder width apart. And if they're not, I make an adjustment. My right hip, my right hand is out. My right hip is more coiled than my left, meaning that it softens into my left groin. Rather than being square, hips and shoulders square forward will put tension in your groin. I recommend against that. I recommend softening the groin, releasing tension there, and allowing the weight to fall down the inside of the leg. Again, this is not necessarily taught in the Wu Style schools. I learned Wu Style hips and shoulders square. This is coming from Grandmaster William C, Chen's Yang. So I soften here, and that increases my power, increases my relaxation, because at the end of the day, we're always working toward optimization in our forms, minimizing tension. Tension is not bad. Unnecessary tension is bad. So if you have unnecessary tension, do your best to rid yourself of it and take that same level of energy and apply it to everything else that you're doing well. So we drop down, we step through. We came from here, we stepped through, and with that step through, coming out. So you might want to do the reverse breathing, the reverse of what I do in terms of breathing. You might want to do your inhalations first and then exhalations. If you want to experiment with this at all, I do recommend having a form where you train the reverse breathing. And again, where I'm getting the better name we came up with it for it, because there is reverse breathing Qigong, and it's technically not the same thing that we're talking about right now. I'm talking about inhalation on the pushing out rather than exhaling on the pushing out. And the pushing out even itself is a terminology that should be reconsidered if you're doing this reverse breathing, as we're calling it, because you're not really pushing out, you're creating a shape when you inhale, versus when you exhale, you're pushing out. So when you inhale, you create these shapes, and that's part of what makes them so solid. Very different than a whipping of the breath outward. Different body mechanic and different intention behind it. So these intentions are both valid, and there's a time and place for each one to get you the optimal result for moving your opponent in the direction that you wish them to go. Let's go from the beginning again. Eye in the middle finger. 7-star or play guitar. Weight all in the back of my leg. As a matter of fact, I'm going to ask my son to take this moment and just shoot this. And all that. Here, we're going to give this, we're going to flip the camera for him. There he is. And he's going to shoot this. So if you could just shoot me doing this whole thing. Thank you.
Wait, shoot. Okay.
Yeah, it's recording.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, zipper Tai Chi. I did almost fall. What are you talking about? Okay, eye, middle finger, and weight on the back leg. Inhale deep. Exhale. Weight in the hand, shoulder, press. Exhale even deeper. And deeper. Okay. Going to sleep this time. Inhale, waking up with a bounce. Exhale, open the hips. Inhale deep, draw the color in. Exhale. Stage 1, exhale, stage 2, drilling deeper and twisting. Inhale back. Inhale even deeper. Exhaling, falling asleep. Inhale, wake up, bounce. Inhale even deeper. Exhale. Notice that a little pulse. Shift the weight. Step through. Drop the weight even more. This time, I might inhale. And exhale. Inhale deep. Now we're getting to the 4 corners. Finally, step through and exhale. Burst hip. If you come around this way, please. First hand. Inhale. Cover. Notice that my spine, come right here, Jeff. I used to tuck for it, trying to keep my elbow straight down. But it was always challenging. Now, since I've had that car accident, I emphasize the natural curve of the spine here, which feels amazing. It feels way better than when I used to try to maintain this forward pressure here, which takes support off my lower back. So I allow that lower back support to be there, and then I bring back that push forward here. Exhale, scoot up and up. And here's the T, Jeff. You come right here. Here's the T. The T, and I have my eye on the middle finger on the top hand. Back up, buddy. And I inhale, cut across, cover the temple, this hand down, open up the foot, swing it across my shoulder width, and exhale. It's another like one time catches up to the other. Going in. Exhale, spinning up and up. Middle finger. Now back. Inhale even deeper. Exhaling down. And now I do my reverse breathing now. Inhale, bouncing up. Exhale. Now I'm going to do the reverse breathing of the four corners. So I just did their standard breathing just now. Watch how the reverse change. Inhale, up. I'm going to fingers and I'm feeling myself rising up. I'm not worried so much. I still maintain my A-frame, meaning straight line from the back heel to the top of the head. But I allow myself to lift up more rather than exhale, spinning, pushing up that way. I inhale on there, right up. And I look behind me. This is part of the Wu style, the look behind, not necessarily part of the reverse breathing. The look behind gives you more of a twist in the waist, gives you more flexibility and strength. So here we go. And now we change the way we do the transition and turn. Now we have one hand over the other. Rather than covering the temple.
Wait, Dad, something happened. So
It's okay.
it taps.
That's okay. We're still recording. Thanks, buddy. My son is just making sure we're still recording. So we did inhale up, exhale, holding, turning one foot in, box there. The click, feet make the click. Don't win. Okay, here we go. Explaining. Notice that I pivoted on my heel. Some people pivot on their foot. Depends on the situation and the stance. Inhaling up, 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 up. Notice how much emphasis I give to my thumb. I'm not holding my thumb in like Shaolin Kung Fu. I'm using my thumb to help me lead, which is very, very helpful in grappling, especially when you're behind the back. Using the thumb to move the opponent to help drive the direction. Oftentimes, in Grandmaster William C Chen says the mind goes with the finger points, especially the index finger and the thumb. So I'm using both. Boom, inhaling up, inflating, exhaling, covering. Very, very gentle, right? I feel really great here. This is like I have my hand on someone's head in the back of their neck, and I'm just bringing them down. And then I shift forward, heel, bald foot, big toe, and I inhale. And I feel the pressure on the big toe. I inhale and I rise up. I look behind me. And then exhale. I come right back. And this is the end of your sequence. That was the fourth of the four quarters. Inhaling up. And you might notice in your Wu style, you have a sucking in motion here. And there's a roll. This is a note for another video, but it's one of my favorite, most subtle things in the Wu style. Right here, this little suck in and roll. It is different from every other point in the form where you do it multiple times. And normally you do it in turn. Here, we're sucking in and we're keeping it in one lane, one line. And rather than turning left or right, we're rolling it in the belly. We're rolling in and forward, which has an amazing, amazing application in push hands drills. really, really amazing application that I love to do in the four push or the two push, two roll back, Wu style, standard pushing. So exhaling. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I'm doing my form today. I'm very, very grateful for Sifu Keith Dong in New York. And if you are in New York, I highly recommend trading with him. He is a very private person. So just reach out to me if that's something you would like to do. Because he does not advertise, nor does he collect students or anything like that. He's just a true rare master, and I love exposing people to what he does. So thank you guys. If you've done this training with me, I recommend, and me and my son will do it together. We'll do a little stretching right now. Let me just reverse this camera. There it is. So always finish up your forms. Always finish up everything stretching. Just do that all the time. Super important. And let's do our uplifting heaven. See? Down. Uh-oh. Hey, well, that's not that bad. Might fall though.
I would fix it.
You guys should fix it? Okay. He's a very wise guy. Let's fix it real quick.
Then I found.
Okay, well, almost done. So, semi-crooked camera, uplifting heaven. Exhaling. Mouth closed, tongue on the ceiling of the mouth. Deep. Exhaling down. Hands out. Inhale. Like you're tracing the outside of the yin yang. Reach across. Exhale. Try to keep your hips stable and stretch out of the hips rather than moving the hips and the weight. Exhale. Inhale, reaching behind this time. Tracing the outside of the yin yang. Reaching downward, like you're trying to put your hands in your pocket or touch your toes and touch your toes. Exhale down. Inhaling up. Exhale. The thumbs, we're going to take them and we're going to inhale, roll them back, open the chest up. And you can even arch your back a little bit too, meaning stick out the butt a little bit. And then exhale and tuck the butt in as you collapse the rib cage as the fingers spin, collapse the chest, tuck in the butt. Inhale, open, thumbs go back. Sure. Thumbs go back, chest opens up. And you can stick the butt out too, get a nice little stretch in front of the body, exhaling. One more time. Inhale, open the ribs. Exhale, collapse. Inhale, open up, reach back. Back, back, back. Exhale, reach forward. When you reach forward, tucking in. Inhale, stick the hips forward. Exhale. Actually, when you go forward, try sticking out. Inhale, tuck in. Exhale, stick the butt out. Inhale, the butt in. Exhale, let's tuck the butt in again. Inhale, hips forward. Exhale, roll the butt in. Again. Just feel the difference, the nice movements that gives you on the back and the shoulders. Inhale, deep. You want to do a stretch? Which one? Okay. We'll do that in a moment. Jet would like to do a split. So we'll inhale up and we'll warm ourselves up for that end split. Like you're pulling a curtain, white light up above you. Exhale, wash it down the legs. Feet shoulder width apart, parallel. Inhale up, like you're picking that curtain up. And exhale, turn, wash it down on the left side or the right side. Inhale up. And then turn to the other side. Exhale, wash it down. Inhale, picking the curtain up, bring it behind your head. And exhale, wash it down the back. And now, inhale, widen your stance, get to your split. Widen your stance as much as you can. I have business seat pants on, flats. Exhale, wash down one leg. Inhale up, turn to the other side. Exhale down the other leg. Inhale up, exhale, split it down both legs. And fold the arms and hang just for a moment. Inhale, white light into the lungs and the belly. Exhale, shift the weight to the heels, straighten the legs, and keep that light washing down. Make sure to soften your neck so your head falls. Exhale. Release the arm. Inhale, suck the belly button in, come up, 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 up. Inhale up. And exhale down one more time. And slap up. Slap up, 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 up. Up the inside of the arms, down the outside. Up the inside, down the outside. Over the shoulders. Down the back. Do your best to get as high as you can. Upper back, middle back, lower back, slapping. Down the back of the legs. Inhaling up. Around pectoral major. Tapping around. 4 fingers on the sternum. Up and down. On the floating rib up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Floating rib up. 3, 4, 5. Let the pressure go through the lungs. U shape on either side of the collarbone. Looking up and release all the way down, relaxing through the reproductive organs down, through the legs into the ground, and massaging up the neck through the chin. Very strong pressure. I open the hands a little bit like this. Yeah. And counterpoint in the back of the neck, like you're getting sand off the back of your neck. Really feel the muscles move. Feel the ripple effect in the neck muscles. Earlobe. And that's for sleep. Up, around, down, under. Very strong pressure around the ears. Hook underneath the chin, underneath the lip, and thumb under the chin and squeeze. Switch. This is for hormones. Up to the side, release. Up to the side, release. Up to the side, release. Fingers to the scalp. Front to back, back to front. Front to back, back to front. And massage. Front to back, back to front. And gentle banging with hollow fists. Front to back, back to front. Grab the scalp, knead it like dough. Actually, did we already do the slapping? I don't think we did. Slapping. Front to back to front. Grab the scalp and knead it like dough. 1, 2, 3, release. Next patch. 1, 2, 3, release. 2, 3, release. 1, 2, release. 1, 2. And then reverse it. Go back to front, but also reverse the circles. 1. Now remember, you're moving the muscle and the bone underneath the skin. So it's not just the skin. You want the mind to connect to the muscle and the bone. So stretch the skull bones. And fingers at the top of the forehead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Reverse it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Temples. 2, 3, 4. And then reverse it. 1, 2. Eyes closed, middle finger on the eyeball itself. And massage on your eyelids, gentle pressure into the eyeballs. And then reverse the circles. Rub the hands together, keeping the eyes closed, and put the palms over the eyes. Inhale, light into the belly. Exhale, push the light through the arms, through the palms, and let the eyes absorb it. Inhale, light into the belly. Exhale, push the light through the arms, into the palms, and let the eyes absorb the light. Exhale. Just feel the eyes full of energy. Thumbs in the groove between the eyeball and the bone, tapping around. Very tight circle. Second circle bigger. Third circle biggest. Middle finger on the eyebrow. 1, 2, 3. Bridge of the nose. 1, 2. Side of the nose. 1. Nostrils. Front of the side of the nostrils. For the heart. 1. Switch. 1, 2. Top and bottom. 1, 2. Switch. 1, 2. On the top, just above the gums, gum line, massage. 1, 2, 4, 5. And Yes. And below the gum line. Good. And the tongue. Go ahead. Fingers. Flick the fingers, flick the thumbs. Press and hold. And drill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tap. 1. Second circle bigger. Circle biggest. Go out as much as you can. And then top and bottom massage. And sides. Top and bottom. Some sides. Top and bottom. And sides. Top and bottom. And sides. Top and bottom. Sides. Press and hold. Right here. In between the thumb and index finger on and massage. 1, 2, 3, 4. That should hurt a little bit. Feel that? Yes. Good. Okay, other side. Press and hold. And drill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tap. Second circle bigger. Third circle biggest. And around. Thumb, top and bottom, and then sides. Bottom and sides. Top and bottom and sides. Top and bottom. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Close the eyes, inhale, white light to the belly. And spread the light to the whole body. You want to use the sound of ah to push white light like a cleansing agent through the bone marrow and organs. Inhale white light up the front of the body from the toes to the top of the head. Exhale, roll it down the back like a waterfall. Head to heels, and wash the body. Inhale up the left side. Roll it down the right. Inhale to the belly. Exhale, push it through the legs into the ground so the light go down, up and around like a fountain in reverse. Make a big bubble around you. And one more time, inhale white light to the belly. Push it to the top of the head and make a big fountain of light coming out of the head. All the magnetic energy filling around you. Be very aware of it. Making this big bubble of light around you. Have gratitude for the body, the good people in your life, the space that we're in. Thank you guys so much. Love you guys. Love you, Mark. So good to see you. And this is Tai Chi to the People. Every Tuesday, everybody's welcome. And you can support the channel by liking this video, by leaving a comment with any thoughts, ideas that you might have, questions, etc. Subscribing, that's super helpful. The sun is climbing this tree, which this camera is resting on. Becoming a patron on patreon.com/JansTaiChi. That's super helpful for growing the channel. And of course, just sharing the video with more people. So I love you guys so much. And I will see you next week. I'll have a bunch more videos soon. I'm going to press stop on this. Mark, hold on 1 second. I want to say hi to you. Hold on. Let's just stop this video. Love you guys.